Hello everyone, welcome back to another session of AWS Mastery course. So in this course, as of now, we have understood about what is EC2 and what are the, different types of EC2 instances we are having. But in this particular session, we are going to understand like how we can launch the EC2 instance, how we can actually configure the different type of EC2 instance, whether it is Windows or Linux, and also like we are going to understand like how we can manage the EC2 instance step by step. So, launching and I can say configuring and managing the EC2 instance are very important. So you have to learn each and everything in a very proper manner. Okay. So now let's start the session. So as you know, like in this session, we are just trying to launch our EC2 instance. I'm going to show you practically like how you can launch your EC2 instance and how we can configure that EC2 instance and how we can manage the EC2 instance practically. For doing that, let's just go to our AWS console and let's understand like how we can actually launch our EC2 instance first. Okay, so now let's just go to our AWS console. So guys, as you can see, like I'm on my AWS console, as you can see. So you are like I can say using your AWS I can say console for the first time. So you won't get these like recently visited. So let me just remove this. Okay, so for the first time you will get something like this. Okay, and now like we are just starting with our EC2 instance, which is Elastic Compute Cloud. So you have to search for EC2. Okay, so here in the search bar you have to just search for EC2 and then you will click on this like virtual servers in the cloud. So as you know, as you like in the last video I have already told you, like EC2 is nothing but just a virtual server. So we are just launching, or we can say we are just creating a virtual server. So it is just EC2, and once you will click on EC2, you will see this kind of window. Okay, so in this window like you will see like we are having instances running, we are having auto scaling groups, we are having dedicated host, elastic IP instances, key pair. So we are having lots of informations related to our instances. Okay, so this is all about EC2 instance. Okay, so now the thing is like how we can actually launch our own instance. Okay, so you can just click on instances running, you can see that. So let me just click over here. So it is already showing like there are two instances running. So these are the two instances running, and from here you can launch our instance. Also you can just go back, and from here you can launch the instance. So no matter from where you are launching, it is just like we are just launching. Okay, so there can be many ways of doing the same process. So first of all, just name your web server. Okay, the just name of just name your EC2 instance. So I'm just saying my first virtual machine. Okay, what I'm saying, my first virtual machine, or I can say my first instance. And apart from that, it is something written like application and OS images. Okay, and in the bracket it is saying Amazon machine images. Okay, so like the thing is like when you are creating your virtual machine or instance, like you need to specify which kind of operating system you are going to use, whether it is a Windows server or Linux server, Mac, or different other distros of Linux, like your what I can say Ubuntu, SUSE Linux, Red Hat Linux. Okay, and Arc. Like there are lots of distros which you can actually use. So now as you can see here, we are having like Amazon Linux, then we are having Mac OS, then we are having Ubuntu, Windows, Red Hat, like as I already told you. Now let's just click on browse more AMIs. So here we are having like lots of Amazon machine images. So the thing is like there are lots of machines. Okay, there are lots of OS options we are getting over here, but you have to keep one thing in your mind. Most of the time you will be dealing with Windows server, or maybe you will be dealing with the Linux server. Okay, most of the time. But as per the client or your project's requirement, you maybe end up running Mac OS or some other distros of Linux. But mainly you have to take like you have to play with the Windows or Linux server as per the requirement. Okay, so we are just going to choose Windows server for the first time, because I'm just going to show you like how you can create your Windows machine practically. So as you can see, we are having lots of options. We are having Ubuntu, and here as you can see we are having Microsoft Windows Server 2022 base. Okay, So no matter which operating system you want to use, but as a beginner, like you are the student, or I can say you are a learner, and being a learner, you are having some limitations. Limitation means you are just using a free tier account. So always make sure this should be written with that particular operating system which you are going to use, like it is saying free tier eligible. And apart from that, like in lots of I can say operating systems, free tier eligible is written, but as you can see in this Ubuntu it is not written. Means if you are going to use this, like you have to, like you will end up paying something to the AWS. Okay, so as we are limited to the free tier account, so we are going to use this Microsoft like Windows, and which is also a free tier eligible operating system. Okay, so now let's just click on select. So once you will click on select, as you can see it is already I can say it will take few seconds. So as you can see, like we have just choose this Windows Server, and Windows Server 2022, and it is saying English full base, then Microsoft Windows Server. So we are having this information. Okay, and we are having this like catalog quick start AMIs, means from that particular window we have just I can say got this. Okay, then we are having published, and we are having this architecture, so we are having lots of information. So in the like later on in this video I will be letting you know what's the purpose of these things which is written over there. But as of now, let's just try to understand, like this is just a Windows server which we are just using in order to create our first instance. Okay, now we are having this instant type, so it is t2.micro. Okay, so as I told you, like there are lots of types, or I can say variants of instances. So some of our general purpose, or application based instances, or I can say network based instances. So as you can see, like we are using just a general purpose, and I will be letting you know as well, but this is a general purpose instance, and it is known as t2 micro. Okay, and this is the which this is the information which we are getting. So the family is t2, and we are using one virtual CPU, and we are using 1 GB of memory, and the current generation is true. And as you can see, like the pricing is already written as per the other instances which we are, if we are running with t2 micro. Okay, now then we are having key pair login. Okay, so what is key pair? So key pair is a kind of a key which is required in order to open that particular virtual machine whenever we will try to access that virtual machine. So it is something kind of a password. Okay, means whenever you actually install operating system in your physical machine, so at that time, when at the time of starting or booting up, you just set up one password. So it is similar to that. So as you can see, we are having some it is saying proceed without a key pair, and also it is saying create a new key pair. So I will click on create a new key pair. Okay, and it is saying like key pair name, so I'm just saying my first key pair, like we are just creating a kind of a password. Okay, so I'm just using like must my first key pair. Just a second guys, my first key pair. Okay, so we are just creating our first key pair, and then as you can see we are having some RSA. So RSA is a kind of a encryption, and then we are having two options, like first .pem or .ppk. So initially we are just going to use with pem, like .pem file. And if we are using a software called putty, like we can create a virtual machine with the help of the software which is known as putty. So in order to connect with putty, we need to create a key pair with .ppk format. But as of now we are just doing it I can say by default, or I can say by using default, like what we can say default launcher. So we are not going to use anything else, we are just using pem. Okay, now let's just click on key pair, create key pair. Okay, so now let's just click over here. Okay, so as you can see, once you will click on this, and you will get like this key pair will get downloaded in your system. So you just save this. Okay, so just like the way I have saved. And then we are having network setting. So first we are having network, then we are having subnet, then auto assign public IP. So for the first time, like we are just trying to launch our first EC2 instance, just leave this network setting as it is, like by default. Okay, we are not just touching these services. Okay, we are just leaving it as it is. Then we are having configure storage. So by default it is like 30 GB, and it is using GP2, as you can see, like general purpose SSD. So we are just using this by default. Okay, then we are having advanced details, so we are not going into that. Then we are having the summary of our overall EC2 instance, okay, which we are using. As you can see, we are having the complete information. Okay, so now let's just click on launch instance. So it is saying create a launching instance. It will take few seconds. Okay, and once the installation will be done, we will get back to, or I can say redirected to our EC2 instance launch button. So it is saying like instance launch failed, like this account is currently blocked. Okay, so I'm just using my old account. Let me just fix this first. So we were facing some issue in order to launch the instance, because like that account was like already blocked and from the AWS. So I have just set up the new machine, and let's just launch. So I'm just clicking on launch, and it will take few seconds, as you have already seen this thing. So okay, so it is saying successfully initiated launch of instances. And now let's just click over here, and it is actually directing us to the instances homepage. Okay, or I can say instances dashboard. Okay, so it is saying like my first machine, and the status is it is running. Okay, so now the thing is like we have successfully launched our first EC2 instance. Now the next thing is like how we can connect with this instance, and how we can access this instance, like how we can work on this instance. Okay, so let me first just open this instance. Okay, so as you can see, we are having this instance ID, then we are having public and private IP addresses, then we are having host name, and we are having lots of information. So most of the information is, I can say, by default, because we haven't touched anything. We have just used like how we can actually like we have created this instance like in a very quick manner. So now the next thing is like how we can connect with this instance. So now let's just click on connect. Okay, so once you will click on this, you will get like this session manager, RDP client, and EC2 serial console. Okay, so now whenever you want to connect with Windows machine, so Windows machine can be connect, we can connect with Windows machine using the RDP. But when it's come to the Linux, we generally use SSH. So what is RDP and what is SSH, that I will also let you know. So RDP is basically known as remote desktop protocol, and as you can see, you just have to click on RDP client, as you can see on your screen, and then it is saying download remote desktop file. So we have to download this file. So it is saying my first machine.rdp. So we are just downloading this machine, and it is saying like we are having like password, like get password or something like this. So like you just have to open this, like my first like the machine which we have downloaded just. Okay, so now let's just click on this. Okay, so as you can see, like I'm using this tool, and in your system, like most of you like might be using Windows as your I can say like primary operating system in your laptop. So in that, like you will be getting one RDC, like remote desktop client. Okay, so don't get just confused, like you just have to click it, and it will directly automatically will pop up. So now let's just click on accept certificate. So now it is saying username and then password. Okay, but we as of now we don't have any password. So just remember, like we have created one key pair as well. So now like how we can use that. So as you can see, it is something written get password. So now let's just click on this get password. Okay, so once you will click on this get password, you just have to upload that private key, means the key pair which we have created. You just have to upload that. So I am on my desktop. Okay, so here is my key pair, like my first key pair. You just have to select this, okay, just like this, and then you have to decrypt it. So why we are doing, actually when we are creating any server or EC2 instance, AWS actually provides the key, and we have to decrypt that key. Okay, so the password which is actually provided by AWS is this kind of a encrypted password, and we have to decrypt. So it is just because of the security purposes. Now let's just click on decrypt. So once you will click on decrypt, as you can see, we have just got the decrypted password. So now let's just click over here, like we have just copied this password, and we will just paste it here, and we will click on OK. And let's just wait for a few seconds, and our Windows machine will get started. So as you can see, our Windows machine is actually booting up. So as you can see, like our machine is actually working perfectly fine. And let me just open this machine. So this is our Windows machine, which is actually running perfectly fine. Okay. And if we'll try to open this machine, as you can see, let's our Windows server. Okay, so you can just use this machine as per your requirement. So as you can see, like this machine is like similar to your Windows machine, but it is a kind of a server. Okay, and as of now, like as a beginner, just try to understand, this is just, I can say, a virtual machine. Okay, like just a Windows machine. Okay, so now let's just try to understand like whether this is going to work, I can say, similar to our things or not. Okay, so let me just open this. Okay, so now let me just open the CMD of this machine. Okay, so this is the CMD, and as you can see, I'm in the CMD, and let me just check the IP address of this machine. So once I will click on this, and as you can see, like this is my IP address of this machine, means this machine is working perfectly fine and it is connected to the internet. So let me just check whether it is connected. So I'm just saying ping, and let me just ping it with google.com. So as you can see, we are just getting the reply back from the Google server. Okay, so means we can say like our machine is connected with the internet as well. Okay, so this is our what we can say, this is our machine, and as you can see, we are having like almost like everything is similar, and everything similar to our normal Windows machine. Okay, so I hope you guys have understood like how you can create this machine. Okay, and also let me just power off this machine as of now, because as of now we don't need to do anything with this machine. We are just understanding like how we can launch an instance and how we can what we can say, access that instance. Okay, so we have just created a Windows machine, Windows instance, and we have actually connected with this instance. Okay, so now let's just go back to instances. Okay, so as you can see, like we are having this my first machine. So I have already shut down this machine, so that's why it is saying stopping. Okay, but if you check the instance states, we are having start, reboot, hibernate, and terminate. Okay, so guys, we have to keep one thing in our mind. Okay, so let's suppose if we are creating a machine and we are just directly closing the browser. So what will happen, actually that particular machine is running on the cloud. Okay, so if the machine is keep on running on the cloud, so it is going to generate the bill. Okay, and you have to pay the cost. Okay, so initially you're having the free tier account, but later on, like this free tier account will get exhausted and you have to pay. Okay, so make sure once you are done with the with the usage, like whatever the use you are going to do, so once you are done with that, just try to stop, or I can say terminate the machine. So stop means you are just shutting down the machine, terminate means you are just deleting the machine completely. Okay, so I hope you guys have understood like how you can actually create a EC2 instance and how you can access this EC2 instance. Okay, so like I hope you guys are very much clear. Okay, so once you are done with this, like now the thing is like how we can manage this machine. Okay, so initially, like we are very much beginners, so initially I'm just going to tell you like how you can manage, or I can say kind of monitor. Okay, so once you will see, so our machine, like the stats of our machine is going on over here. Okay, so this is the CPU utilization, network in, network out, network packets. Okay, so this is the monitoring. Okay, so for doing this, like we are having a separate server which is also known as CloudWatch, but we are not going in that part. But here we are just monitoring our machine. Okay, so if there is anything, like we can get the idea like what how our machine is actually performing, or we can say how our instance is actually performing. Okay, so this is how we can do this. And apart from that, like later on we will be understanding about the alarm and the security, networking part, and the storage. So again and again, with each and every service, in this course we will be dealing with this EC2. Okay, so I hope you guys are very much clear with the idea of creating and launching and managing the EC2 instance. Okay, so that's it for now, and let's meet in the next session. Till then, just take care of yourself. Thank you so much. So in this session you have understood about like how you can launch the Windows instance, or I can say how you can make a Windows virtual machine. So, and also you have understood like how you can manage and configure the machine. So I hope you guys are very much clear with these concepts. So that's it for now. Let's meet in the next session. Till then, just take care of yourself. Thank you so much.